Welcome to Reddit Confessions.
I played the video of her cheating during our wedding vows and walked out in front of everyone. But that moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was born in Vegas, fueled by lies, sparked by a door that closed behind her at 2:17 a.m. Let me rewind. I'm Josh Adler, 31, software engineer, quiet, romantic, not flashy, not rich. I buy flowers without a reason, and I remember anniversaries Kayla forgot. I always thought I'd marry someone who wanted peace. Kayla wanted fireworks. Kayla Monroe, 29, event planner. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and pull gravity with her smile. Online, she was everyone's goals. In real life, she left wet towels on the floor, cried at Pixar movies, and spent hours curating the perfect moment, even when we were just having breakfast. To the world, she was glam and gold. To me, she was home. We were supposed to be getting married in 2 weeks. A vineyard in Napa. Her dream. Custom chairs, sunset vows, a 6-piece quartet. She planned every detail like it was a movie set. And I let her. Because that's what you do when you love someone more than they love you. She said it was just a bachelorette weekend. Just the girls, she told me, kissing my cheek like she didn't already have secrets stashed in her carry-on. I didn't question it. I was the steady one. The one who didn't snoop through phones or make accusations. I trusted her. God, I was stupid. She left on a Thursday. Posted a photo before the plane even took off. Champagne in plastic cups. Peace signs all around. Her smile was wide, but there was something in her eyes that didn't match. Still, I told myself not to spiral. Not to overthink. She was celebrating us, right? Saturday night. That's when everything shifted. I was at home double-checking RSVP counts. She was supposed to be asleep by then, time zones and all. Then my phone buzzed. A video. From Brittany. Her maid of honor. No caption. Just shaky footage of a hotel suite. Music blaring. Girls yelling. Glitter everywhere. Then the camera panned to the door. He walked in. Zach. Her ex. Her mistake. Her one that got away. Until he didn't. He strolled in like he owned the room. Girls screamed. Brittany laughed behind the camera, yelling, "Look who we found." Then I saw Kayla. She froze. Smile flickering, drink halfway to her lips. And then she smiled. Not the smile she gave me when we picked out centerpieces or tasted wedding cake samples. No, this smile was slower. Hungrier. She walked up and hugged him. Longer than she needed to. And I felt something snap inside me. There's a story I heard once. About a man who found a cracked vase in a thrift shop. Hairline split down the center, barely holding together. He bought it anyway. Said he saw potential. Took it home. Patched it. Painted it gold. Every night he lit a candle inside it. Watched it glow through the cracks. His wife watched too. But she didn't love the vase. She missed the one she had before. Newer, smoother, flawless. One day, when he came home, the gold-patched vase was gone. She'd thrown it out. Said it didn't match the rest of the room anymore. That story used to make me sad. Now I just understand it. I texted her immediately. Why is Zach in Vegas? No reply. Then I called. Straight to voicemail. 2 minutes later, Brittany texted. Don't freak out. It was my idea. Just a fun surprise. Kayla didn't know he was coming woman dancing light skin tone sparkles. Fun surprise. Inviting her ex to the last night of her bachelorette trip was a fun surprise. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I opened Instagram. Brittany was live. I tapped the stream. The screen lit up. Music, screaming, lights. They were back in the suite. I watched as the camera moved wildly, then caught a brief moment in the corner. Zach and Kayla. On the balcony. Her hand on his arm. Their heads close. And just for a second, his lips near her ear. The screen went black. Live ended. But that second burned itself into my brain. I didn't sleep. Just laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling. At 1:42 a.m., my phone lit up again. Kayla. I answered before the second ring. Hey, she slurred, voice sweet and slightly drunk. Babe, it's crazy here. Yeah, I said quietly. I saw the video. Silence. Then, Brittany's idea. Total surprise. I didn't even know he was coming. You seemed comfortable. She laughed, too loud, too fake. Come on, don't be jealous. It's my bachelorette. I said nothing. You trust me, right? She added, quieter now. Before I could answer, I heard a voice in the background. A man's voice. Close. Who's that? I asked. She paused. Room service, she said quickly. Anyway, I gotta go. Spot A early. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? Kayla. Love you, she said, then hung up. The next morning, I got a photo from her. Kayla in a robe. Alone. A mimosa in her hand. Middle finger up at the camera. Caption, no drama. Just vibes, nail polish, medium light skin tone. But I wasn't looking at her finger. I was looking at the mirror behind her. A hotel bed. Ruffled. And on the edge, just visible, folded clothes. A man's jacket. Not Zach's. Not mine. I zoomed in. Barely visible on the key card near the nightstand. Room 1113. And just like that, I knew. That night, she crossed a line she could never uncross. She thought no one saw her sneak him in. She was wrong. Vegas hotels have more eyes than God. Cameras on every floor, every corner, every elevator. And on the 11th floor of the Palms Grand, room 1113 had a perfect view of the hallway. I didn't know that yet, but someone else did. I couldn't eat, couldn't work, couldn't sleep. Just stared at that photo of her mimosa selfie and the man's jacket folded behind her. It wasn't Zach's. I knew what his style looked like. Leather, khaki worn. This jacket was sharp. Slim cut. Navy blue. Someone knew her. Someone closer to her world now. But it didn't matter who it belonged to. All that mattered was she wasn't alone that night. And she was lying about it. She called me that afternoon. Said her phone had died the night before. Said she missed me. I asked if Zach had left. She hesitated. Yeah, she said finally. He's gone. I didn't believe her. But I pretended I did. That's the moment something changed inside me. I stopped hoping for an explanation. I started waiting for proof. I didn't know how I'd get it. Not yet. But Vegas has a funny way of revealing what people try to hide. 3 days later, a small black envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address. Just my name, in messy block letters. Inside was a flash drive. No note. Just that. I stared at it for a full minute before plugging it into my laptop. I should have braced myself. Should have prayed. Should have poured a drink. Instead, I just hit play. Grainy footage. Hallway security camera. Time-stamped. 2:13 a.m. M. Kayla. Wearing that same silk robe from the mimosa selfie. Barefoot. Tiptoeing. She glanced over her shoulder, then opened the door to room 1113. Out stepped a man. Not Zach. Taller. Clean cut. White dress shirt. No tie. Holding his shoes in one hand. Like even he knew this was wrong. They kissed. Quick. Familiar. Then she pulled him back inside. The door closed at 2:17 a.m. The camera kept rolling for another 10 seconds. Silence. Then black screen. End of video. I sat there for a long time, not moving. Not breathing. I'd always wondered what betrayal looked like. Now I knew. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't caught in bed with sheets tangled around ankles. It was quiet. Calculated. Kayla had waited until the hallway was empty. Until the world was asleep. Until she could lie without guilt. But someone had seen her. And now I had it. I didn't cry. That surprised me. I didn't punch a wall or scream into the void or call her demanding answers. I just sat there. Let the weight of it sink in like cold water. And then, slowly, I began to smile. Not because I was okay. Because I had a plan. The next day, I went to our wedding venue in Napa. Talked to the AV guy. Told him we wanted a custom sequence after the vows. A special video, surprise for the bride. She's going to freak, I told him, smiling. He laughed. We love surprises. So did I? I started writing my vows that night. The fake ones. The ones I'd say out loud. I made them beautiful, romantic, sincere. I knew her better than anyone, and that made it easy to lie, just like she had. But in the back of my mind, I kept replaying the moment the camera caught her pulling that man inside room 1113. And I made another vow to myself. She'd never forget it. People always think betrayal is loud, explosive, but it's not. It's quiet, like a robe brushing tile, a man slipping his shoes off, a door closing slowly, the kind of quiet that ruins everything. I pressed play. My fiancée walked in. 15 seconds later, so did her ex. That was the beginning of the end, and I watched it happen in 4K, full screen, headphones on, my hand trembling on the mouse. The flash drive didn't just have the hallway footage. There was more. Someone, maybe a hotel employee, maybe a stranger who hated cheaters, had given me a gift. A curse. A weapon. Because the hallway was just the setup. What happened next was the kill shot. It started with the sound of the door unlocking. Then Kayla appeared. Messy hair, bare shoulders, that silk robe sliding down one side like a whisper. Her eyes darted toward the hallway, then back into the room. She giggled, whispered something I couldn't make out. Then Zach walked in, and my stomach dropped. He wasn't the mystery man from room 1113. No, this was earlier. The night he first showed up. He tossed his jacket on the bed like he'd done it 100 times. Like this wasn't new. Kayla leaned against the minibar, drinking straight from a mini champagne bottle. "You shouldn't be here," she said, laughing. "Didn't stop you from opening the door," he replied. I wanted to look away, wanted to shut the laptop and throw it out the window, but I didn't. Because what came next wasn't just betrayal. It was betrayal she enjoyed. They talked, laughed. She told him she missed his voice. That her fiancé was sweet but boring. "Safe," she said. That word again. Zach made some joke about me, called me Mr. Spreadsheet. Kayla didn't defend me. She just sipped her drink and said, "He's nice. But nice isn't always enough." Then she kissed him. I paused the video, stared at her frozen on the screen. Mouth on his, hand on his neck. The same mouth she used to tell me she loved me. The same hand that picked out our wedding rings. The rage didn't hit all at once. It came slowly, like a rising tide. I hit play again. Clothes hit the floor. Laughter turned into breathing. And then, I stopped the video. Didn't need to see the rest. Didn't want to. I had enough. Enough to ruin her. Enough to end everything. I closed the laptop. Sat in silence. She texted me an hour later. "Miss you. Can't wait to marry you, ring 2 hearts." I didn't reply. Because I wasn't canceling the wedding. I was rewriting the ending. People think heartbreak is loud. Messy. Tears and screaming and slammed doors. But for me, it was quiet. Methodical. A plan forming beneath the ashes. She gave me her worst. I was going to give her my best. I called the venue. Told them I had one small change. A video I wanted played right after the vows. "Just a little surprise," I said. They laughed. Said no problem. Everyone loves surprises. I sat down and wrote a new set of vows. Not for her. For the camera. For the crowd. For the moment I'd watch her face melt into horror in front of everyone she loved. She wanted a perfect day. I'd give her something unforgettable. She kissed me in front of the guests. I tasted guilt. Not mine. Hers. It clung to her skin like perfume, soaked into every laugh, every glance, every babe she tossed like confetti. If you didn't know, you'd think we were in love. But I knew. And now, every word she spoke sounded like a lie being rehearsed. The rehearsal dinner was at the vineyard's private dining room. Long mahogany table, candlelight, linen napkins folded like swans. Her mom cried twice before dessert. Her dad gave me the kind of handshake that says welcome to the family, son. And Kayla? She sparkled. Not the kind of sparkle you earn, the kind you manufacture. Dress perfect, makeup flawless, stories flowing like wine. Even I started to question if the footage was real. Until she leaned over, whispered in my ear, "This is everything I ever dreamed of." And I remembered. Room 1113. That robe. That man. That kiss. I smiled and kissed her forehead. Because I was done reacting. I was performing now. "Tomorrow's going to be unforgettable," I said, raising my glass. Everyone cheered. She squeezed my hand under the table. She had no idea. After dinner, the videographer pulled me aside. "Hey man, just confirming the new sequence you sent over. The USB worked great." "Perfect," I said. "Just make sure it plays right after her vows. Not a second before." He gave me a thumbs up. "You got it." I watched him walk away, carrying the only thing more powerful than the truth, proof. Back in the suite, Kayla slipped off her heels and sighed. "My feet are killing me," she groaned, flopping onto the bed. I sat down beside her, brushed a strand of hair from her face. She smiled, the soft, slow kind she used to save for late nights and quiet mornings. "Do you still want this?" she asked suddenly. It caught me off guard. "What? This? Us? Marriage? I know I can be intense sometimes. But tomorrow's our beginning. I just want to make sure you're still all in." I looked at her. The woman I thought I knew. The woman who, just days ago, was tangled up in someone else's bed, telling me she missed me with the same mouth that kissed her ex hours earlier. And now she wanted reassurance? I gave it to her. "I've never been more sure," I said softly. She kissed me then. Deep. Slow. Familiar. I kissed her back. and wondered if she'd still remember how to breathe when the video started. She fell asleep wrapped around me like nothing had happened, like there wasn't a time bomb ticking beneath her perfect day. I laid there staring at the ceiling, counting the hours. People think revenge is loud, but it's not. Revenge is quiet, measured. It wears a smile and says, "I love you," even as it lights the fuse. "Make sure this video plays right after her vows," I whispered. The tech guy nodded, half paying attention, more focused on balancing audio levels for the string quartet than the USB I'd just handed him. "You got it," he said, sliding the drive into his laptop. I stood there and watched the file open. Titled cleanly, "Forever." MP4. Just a name. Nothing suspicious. He ran it once to check resolution. No sound. Just hallway footage. Then the moment she opened the door. Then the man stepping out of room 1113. The full betrayal in 5 silent seconds. It looped once. "You want music behind this?" he asked, glancing at me. "No," I said. "It speaks for itself." He laughed. Thought I was being poetic. He had no idea. The ceremony was less than 24 hours away. The playlist was set. Her vows would be said. And then, mine would play. I didn't need to speak a word. The footage would do that for me. That night, Kayla was glowing. In the bridal suite, surrounded by peonies and bridesmaids in silk robes, she FaceTimed me. Just to say, "I can't believe tomorrow's real." "Me neither," I said. It wasn't a lie, just not the way she thought. I'd become a ghost in my own wedding, floating through rehearsals, smiling at guests, accepting hugs from people who thought I was the luckiest man alive. They didn't know I'd already buried the version of me that used to believe in her. What was left was someone colder, sharper, someone who watched every move and replayed the footage nightly like a bedtime story. The night before, I wrote a message to my best man. "Whatever happens tomorrow, back me up." He replied with a laughing emoji. He thought I meant a vow mix-up or nerves. I didn't correct him. It was better that no one knew. It had to be clean, surgical. Only Kayla and Zach, if he ever saw it, needed to feel it. Everyone else, just collateral awe. At 2 a.m., I double-checked everything. The USB was loaded. The file was in the queue list, between her vows and the string quartet's version of "Can't Help Falling in Love." God, the irony. I made a backup. Then I made another. One in my jacket pocket. One hidden in the groomsman gift box. If they tried to pull it last second, I'd still have it. The truth was bulletproof now. People think revenge is rage. But no, revenge is elegance. It's timing. It's knowing she'll look into your eyes tomorrow with love in hers, and never see the knife behind your back. I watched the sun rise from my hotel window. Watched the vineyard light up like a postcard. Watched the day begin. The day she thought would crown her life. The day I would take it apart, one vow at a time. Every time she said "forever," I heard "last night." Every toast, every cheer, every speech about soulmates and serendipity. It all felt like watching a beautiful building on fire. No one else could see the smoke yet, but I could smell it in every smile she gave me. The day started like a dream. Her robe was white, her lipstick soft, her eyes glassy with emotion as her bridesmaids zipped her into that dress, the one she swore would make me cry when I saw her. And it almost did, but not for the reasons she thought. I stood at the edge of the vineyard, guests milling around, laughing. Rows of white chairs, champagne flutes sweating in the California sun. Everyone kept saying how lucky I was. "She's stunning, man. You guys are perfect together. What a day, huh?" And I kept nodding, smiling, even shaking hands with the same people who would gasp in 30 minutes. I had to keep the performance tight. Kayla had no clue, not even a flicker of doubt in her eyes. It was amazing, really, how someone could betray you so completely and still be the most radiant person in the room. The toast started during the welcome cocktail hour. Brittany was first. Her voice wobbled a little, but not from guilt, from champagne. "I've known Kayla since freshman year," she began, raising her glass. "She's always been the life of the party. The first to dance, the last to leave. But when she met Josh, she stopped searching." Laughter. A few soft ahs. I watched Kayla beam at me. She believed it. That's the part that burned the most. She believed her own lie. Then it was my best man's turn. He told some story about how I used to be a shy nerd, how Kayla changed that. "How love makes you brave," he said. Kayla looked at me like she was proud of the man I'd become, and I looked at her like she didn't know what she'd made. Not yet. I gave a short toast. Polite, warm, safe. Thank you all for being here, I said. It means everything to us. Us. I said it with a straight face. Even as I imagined her on that balcony with Zach, whispering things I'd never get to unhear. Even as I pictured the USB, locked and loaded, waiting behind the ceremony arch. Even as I saw the videographer giving me a subtle nod from across the lawn. Cue list checked, playback tested. It was all ready. And still, Kayla smiled at me like I was her whole world. She clinked her glass to mine. To tomorrow, she said. I took a sip and thought, tomorrow doesn't belong to you anymore. Later that evening, as golden hours settled over the vineyard and the last few guests took their seats, I stood with the officiant behind the arch. Kayla was still in the bridal suite, hidden from view. My heart wasn't racing. My hands didn't shake. I felt calm, focused, like a man who'd rehearsed his execution so many times, it became muscle memory. This wasn't rage anymore. It was justice. Cold, sharp, beautiful. She walked down the aisle to her favorite song, a soft-string version of All Too Well. Taylor Swift, of course. Every guest turned. Some cried. Some smiled. One of her aunts mouthed, "Oh my God." They were all watching a dream unfold. But I was watching a lie walk toward me in a white dress. Her eyes locked on mine the moment she stepped onto the aisle. There it was. That smile. The one she'd practiced. The one she'd probably spent hours perfecting in the mirror. The innocent bride smile. Half nerves, half joy. I smiled back, just like I'd rehearsed. Because this wasn't about cold feet. This was about control. And I wasn't walking away. Not yet. She held her bouquet a little too tight. That was her tell. Always had been. When she was nervous, her hand stiffened. Like her body was holding back the truth even when her mouth didn't. I remembered how she'd clenched her fists when I asked her about Zach. Brittany invited him, she'd said. As if she had no say. As if she wasn't smiling on that balcony 20 minutes later. Now those same hands gripped a bouquet wrapped in lace. The same lace I'd paid for. The same bouquet she'd once described as simple, but unforgettable. Unforgettable. Yeah, she got that part right. She reached me, took my hand. I felt her fingers tremble. She probably thought it was nerves. She probably thought I was shaking too. I wasn't. I was steady. I was ready. The officiant welcomed everyone. Talked about love. About commitment. About the sacredness of vows. Kayla glanced sideways at me, and I saw it. A flicker, like she could feel something wasn't quite right. But she pushed past it, smiled again, held my hand tighter. And then, the moment came. Kayla, the officiant said, "You may begin your vows." She turned to me, full of emotion. The crowd went silent. Sunlight hit her veil just right, like something from a goddamn movie. And then she spoke. "Josh," she began, voice trembling slightly. "When I met you, I didn't believe in soulmates. I believed in chaos. In timing. In almosts." She paused, smiled. "But you weren't an almost. You were the calm in the noise. The hand that held me when the world spun too fast." My chest tightened. Not because I believed her. Because I didn't. And still, it sounded beautiful. That's the part that haunted me. Even her lies were poetic. "I promise," she continued, "to never take you for granted. To never stop choosing you. Even on the hard days. Even when life tries to pull us apart." I nearly laughed. The projection screen behind her was still rolled up. Just waiting. Every promise she made now would make the fall that much louder. "To forever," she whispered, eyes glassy with tears. The crowd exhaled. Somebody clapped softly. And then, the officiant turned to me. "Josh," he said, "your vows?" I looked at her, took a deep breath, then smiled. Before I say mine, I looked at her, at the woman I almost married, at the audience full of family, friends, and strangers soon to become witnesses. Then I smiled. "There's someone else who already had her last night." Gasps. Someone in the third row whispered, "What the fuck?" Kayla blinked, confused at first, like she didn't register what I'd just said. Then I saw it, the flicker, the way her mouth parted, just slightly, like her body knew the truth was coming before her brain did. I turned toward the AV team and gave a single nod. The screen behind us lowered. The vineyard was dead silent now. No birds, no breeze, just the slow descent of her perfect day. The projector clicked on. White screen, then grainy footage. The hotel hallway. The Palms Grand, 2:13 a.m. Kayla stepped into view, barefoot, robe slightly open, glancing down the hallway like she knew she was doing something wrong. Then, the door to room 1113. Out came the man. Not Zach. Not anyone from the guest list. Just some random guy. Dress shirt. No tie. Shoes in hand. They kissed. She pulled him inside. Door closed. Black screen. Then the second clip started. Zach entering the suite. Her laughing. Them drinking. Her calling me safe. Them kissing. Then, I tapped the mic and turned it off. Didn't need it anymore. I walked. Past the officiant, frozen midward. Past her dad, standing with his mouth half open. Past the guests, clutching their programs like lifelines. Past the cameras. Kayla fell to her knees. Veil slipping. Tears already streaking her makeup. Josh, she choked out. But I didn't look back. Because this was never her story. Not anymore. This was mine. The hotel timestamp. Her voice. His hands. That was all it took to change the energy in the vineyard from celebration to shock. The footage kept rolling long after I walked away. The screen lit up with Kayla's betrayal, in crystal clear high definition. Every detail on full display. The robe. The way she checked the hallway. The way she smiled when she thought no one was watching. And then, that man stepping out of room 1113 like it wasn't the first time. Her hands pulled him back inside. Door shut. Silence. Then the second video. Zach. Laughter. Champagne. Her voice, soft and sharp like a knife with honey on the edge. Nice isn't always enough. That line hit like a gut punch. Even the wind seemed to stop. Someone gasped loud enough for the mic to pick it up. Someone else dropped their wine glass. The screen faded to black. And for a moment, no one moved. It was as if the vineyard had frozen in time. Then the murmurs started. Whispers. Disbelief. A laugh from someone who didn't know what else to do. Then Kayla screamed. Not words. Just sound. Raw. Panicked. Ugly. She looked around, eyes wild, like she was still searching for a version of the world where this wasn't happening. But it was. And I wasn't there to catch her anymore. She fell to her knees. Not gracefully, like a collapse. Her veil ripped. Her bouquet fell sideways, petals scattering across the grass like spilled secrets. She looked for me in the crowd, but I was gone. The officiant stood there frozen, his script useless in his hands. The bridal party didn't know what to do, Brittany especially. Her mouth was clamped shut, finally. For once. Phone started coming out. Some guests tried to stop it. Let's give them privacy. But it was too late. This wasn't private anymore. This was history. And history loves a recording. Kayla tried to stand. Her heel caught in the grass. She stumbled again. Her mom rushed forward, but Kayla pushed her away. Tears. Screams. Makeup streaked like melting paint. And somewhere behind her, the screen rolled back up, as if the vineyard had exhaled. Show's over. But for her, it was just beginning. The mic I dropped buzzed against the floor for a second, then cut out. Her veil fell off as she chased me, tore right off her head, caught on a vineyard chair, dragged behind her like the end of a fairy tale no one wanted. Josh, she screamed. Not once. Not twice. Over and over, louder, more cracked each time. But I kept walking. Straight down the makeshift aisle, between the stunned guests and overturned floral arrangements. Past the altar where we were supposed to start our forever. I didn't even look back, because I'd already seen everything I needed to. The guests didn't know what to do. Some stood. Some sat. A few tried to stop filming, but most didn't. Phones were out. Cameras rolling. A sea of confused and delighted expressions. Shock and contentment. The kind you only get when you realize you're witnessing a disaster you'll be able to tell people about for the rest of your life. Kayla stumbled out after me. Her white dress bunched at the bottom, dirt on the hem, tears on the top. She was sobbing now. Not the quiet kind. Loud. Ugly. Like her lungs were trying to scream the truth out of existence. She caught up to me halfway to the valet loop. Josh, please, she grabbed my arm. I turned. Just once. The entire crowd could see us now. Her crying. Me stone cold in a black tux. I said nothing. Didn't need to. She looked into my eyes like she was begging me to remember who we were. But all I saw was the woman from the video. The one who laughed at me behind hotel doors. The one who said nice wasn't enough. So I pulled my arm free. Got in the car. Driver didn't even ask questions. Doors closed. Engine started. Her hand hit the window once as we pulled away. The crowd watched in stunned silence as I left my own wedding. The groom, the ghost, the grenade. I watched her shrink in the rearview mirror. Dress ruined. Face streaked. Crowd closing in like sharks. Some guests tried to comfort her. Others recorded her. And her screams? They followed me all the way down the winding vineyard road. I didn't cry. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt done. Empty and clean. Like I'd finally taken the trash out after pretending it didn't smell for too long. People talk about heartbreak like it's a tragedy. But sometimes, it's a performance. And the standing ovation comes when you finally walk off the stage. Wedding groom plays cheating video was trending within an hour. I didn't post it. Didn't need to. The guests did it for me. Someone caught the whole thing in 4K from the second row. The vows, the video, her fall to the ground. By the time I got to the hotel that night, it had 800,000 views. By morning, 5 million. Comments exploded. Legend. King behavior. She deserved every frame. I need this man's Cash App. I didn't say a word online. Didn't tweet. Didn't reply. Didn't correct the headlines. I just watched. Silent. Calm. Detached. Like I was floating above the wreckage. Kayla, though? She scrambled. Posted a shaky iPhone notes apology on Instagram. To everyone who witnessed what happened yesterday, I'm heartbroken, embarrassed, and in deep pain. This was not how our day was meant to go. Please respect our privacy while we heal. Comments were off. Of course they were. But it didn't matter. Screenshots live forever. TMZ picked it up by noon. Then BuzzFeed. Then the wedding blogs. TikTok exploded with breakdowns. Let's talk about why this groom is the most iconic man of 2025. I saw my own face in reaction videos. Frozen mid-exit. Mic dropped. Eyes dead calm. Some edited in dramatic music. Others dubbed me the vow breaker. I didn't flinch. Because this wasn't about 15 minutes of fame. This was justice. Filmed, edited, uploaded, and served. Kayla went quiet. Deleted all her old couple posts. Changed her bio to just taking space. Protecting peace. Then Brittany tried to speak up. Posted a video of her crying, talking about mental health and misinformation. But someone dug up her old stories the night Zach arrived. Her yelling, "Look who we found." Like this was a party, not a betrayal. Her TikTok got flooded. She went private by the end of the day. But Kayla? She wasn't done yet. She showed up on a podcast 2 days later, wearing sunglasses indoors. A single tear. A strategically placed tissue. It was just closure, she said. It didn't mean anything. Vegas messes with your head. I was scared. I didn't think Josh would ever find out. She blinked at the camera. I still love him. And maybe that would have worked. Maybe a few people would have believed her. Until Zach showed up. It was just closure, she told the news. It didn't mean anything. Kayla said it like she believed it. Like the video didn't exist. Like the timestamps weren't burned into the internet. She said it on a morning show, sitting stiff in a beige dress, hands folded like a student in detention. The interviewer leaned in. Did you cheat? She hesitated. Blinked once. Twice. Then lied. No. I made a mistake. But we weren't broken. We were bending. Bending. That's what she called 2 men. 1 balcony. 1 hotel door. Room 1113. Social media roasted her alive. Bending. Girl, you snapped. Your man walked out to applause, and you're still lying? Still, she doubled down. Said she was pressured into the bachelorette plans. That she didn't know how to say no. That Brittany pushed the Vegas vibe too far. And Brittany? She wasn't having it. She posted a screenshot. A text from Kayla the night before Zach flew in. Do it. Just don't tell Josh. It'll be fun. That blew everything wide open. Suddenly, even her friends turned. Unfollowed her. Untagged the wedding posts. Her stylist posted a video. She ghosted me after the dress fitting. Wouldn't even pay the final invoice. One by one, her support system vanished. And then Zach appeared. He didn't do a press tour. Didn't sit on a couch and cry. He opened TikTok, flipped the camera, and just started talking. Look, he said, I didn't plan to get involved. But seeing her cry on TV like she's the victim? He shook his head. I was invited. She kissed me. She pulled me in. I didn't sneak into her life. She opened the door. He held up his phone. Text thread. From her. Kayla, I miss us sometimes. You still drive me crazy. Zach, you're getting married. Kayla, doesn't mean I'm dead. It went viral in 2 hours. Hashtag Vegas Vowbreaker trended again. She tried to respond. Tried to play it off. said the texts were edited. But people had receipts, screenshots, dates, proof. The lie collapsed in real time. And the worst part? No one was defending her anymore. Not even her mother. I booked him at the wedding. How messed up is that? I laughed when I said it. Not because it was funny, but because if I didn't laugh, I'd still be drowning in it. The podcast host stared at me like I'd just admitted to murder. Wait, you paid the guy who showed up in the cheating video? I nodded. Zach was on the guest list, I said. Brittany insisted. Said he was part of Kayla's story. I figured, fine. Let her have her nostalgia. The host blinked. And you didn't know? Not until after. I sat back in the chair. Let the silence stretch. I was planning forever, I added. She was planning an encore. The episode dropped at midnight. By 6 a.m., it had 3 million views. Comments exploded. The way he's calm? Dangerous. This is art. This is therapy. Invite him to every podcast. Every single one. I didn't crave the fame. I wasn't selling shirts or pitching a brand. I was telling the truth. And people couldn't get enough of it. A documentary team reached out next. Said they wanted to do a special. Modern heartbreak. Viral justice. I gave them the raw footage. The rehearsal dinner. The mic drop. The video file labeled forever. MP4. They called it the vow breaker. Netflix picked it up in 3 days. Kayla tried to sue. But the venue owned the footage. The videographer had a release. And every guest had their own camera rolling. She didn't have a case. She only had consequences. Brands reached out. A cologne company wanted to name a scent after the saga, Betrayal. I passed. But I did sign one deal, a book. Memoir. Short. Clean. Honest. I do. Until I don't. It hit pre-order records in under 48 hours. People don't want fairy tales anymore. They want blood. Kayla tried to post again. A story. A selfie. Some vague caption about healing. But the comments were ruthless. Someone screenshotted her Spotify. All Too Well was still in her top 5. Poetic. I didn't gloat. Didn't throw parties. Didn't dunk on her online. I just moved. Forward. But not alone. 1 year later, I got married again. Smaller wedding. Different vineyard. Different woman. Event bookings vanished overnight. Her calendar, once stacked for 6 months straight, luxury weddings, brand launches, influencer retreats, went empty like someone pulled the plug on her entire world. Clients didn't call. They disappeared. Quietly. Efficiently. Like they didn't want her curse touching their big day. And the sponsors? Gone. Email after email. After careful consideration, we've decided to move in a different direction. Translation: we don't want the cheater who got exposed at her own wedding fronting our flower boxes or lip gloss kits. She wasn't Kayla Monroe anymore. She was the Vegas vow breaker, a walking scandal, trending for all the wrong reasons. She tried to spin it. Posted a tearful new chapter video. Told her 80K followers she was taking time to reset. Said she was grateful for the lessons. Nobody bought it. The comments weren't cruel. They were worse. Indifferent. Didn't you cheat in a robe? Girl, just log off. You thought we forgot? Brittany blocked her. Zach stopped replying. Even her own sister ghosted her, quietly removing old photos from their shared Monroe Girls Instagram. No one said it out loud, but she knew. She was radioactive now. Then the trailer dropped. The vow breaker. Love, lies, and vengeance. Netflix. My voice over the opening scene. She wanted the perfect wedding. I gave her the perfect ending. And there she was, in slow motion. The dress. The aisle. The face crumbling. The footage played. The scream. The silence after. Kayla watched it alone, lit only by her phone screen, curled up on a couch that used to be ours. She tried to turn it off, but she didn't. She watched the whole thing. And at the very end, right before the screen cut to black, a single line. To love, honor, and never settle for betrayal. A week later, she saw something else on her feed. A wedding. Vineyard. Simple. Classy. The groom wore a dark gray suit. The bride? Soft smile. No veil. No spectacle. The caption read, 1 year later. Worth every second. It was me. I didn't tag her. Didn't need to. She saw it anyway. This time, she watched from her phone. Alone. In silence. No bridesmaids. No champagne. No string quartet playing Taylor Swift in the background. Just her. A couch. And a live stream that wasn't meant for her, but found her anyway. I got married again. A year to the day. Same time. Different place. Different woman. Not because I needed a replacement, but because I finally understood the kind of love that doesn't require cameras or costumes or lies told in lace. She stood across from me barefoot in the grass. No veil. Just wind in her hair and truth in her eyes. She knew everything. The Vegas story. The video. The viral fame. The wounds. And she still said yes. My vows weren't long. No poems. No promises I didn't mean. Just this. I loved someone who wore a mask. I trusted someone who whispered lies between kisses. But you don't make me guess. You make me feel safe to be exactly who I am. So I vow this. No cameras. No edits. Just us. Always honest. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Her eyes glistened. Not because we were putting on a show, but because we weren't. The guests clapped soft. No cheers. No gasps. Just a quiet kind of joy. The kind I didn't know I could have. Back on her couch, Kayla clutched her phone. Eyes red. Screen reflecting off her skin like an echo of what could have been. What she threw away for a spark that died in a hotel hallway. The comments were different this time. Gentler. More curious than cruel. He found peace. She must be watching this. And that, kids, is what healing looks like. She didn't reply. She just watched. Until the final shot. The two of us, standing hand in hand. Sunset. Vineyard. No projection screen. No trap. Just love. To love, honor. And never settle for betrayal.